Mortgages. Does that word make you kind of squirm? Maybe? Well, you are in luck because today you're going to find out a little bit more about some mortgage news and et cetera, with our very favorite Edward Ward, Royal LePage.
Royal LePage, yes, exactly.
And yes, but you brought a friend, Lino Contento, and you are with RBC and you're a mortgage specialist.
I am, yeah.
Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We've had a little bit of exciting news this morning with what's been going on with mortgages. The Bank of Canada just cut their prime rate, right, by 0.5%. So as Lino will explain to you and get a little bit more detail with that, if the big banks follow along, that's going to be some really, really good news for people that are looking at purchasing a home. Wow. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Just literally happened at 10 o'clock. They announced that, wasn't it?
It'll definitely continue to heat up the spring market.
Yeah.
I would think so.
And then with the stress test, they've made a little bit of changes with that. So there's a potential that for anybody that's been contemplating buying, that this could mean that they've got a little bit more purchasing power. But we do have to wait a little bit still, right, to see what the big banks do and how they follow suit and what they're going to change. And Lino can get in on that a little bit more.
Oh, wow. So what is the stress test? Because we hear this kind of out there, right? What is that? What is a stress test for buying a home, for getting a mortgage?
So it's a matter of qualifying your income versus the debt.
Okay.
And currently, as it stands, the income should be qualifying at a rate of 5.19 or 2% above the contracted rate. Currently, let's say the contracted rate would be 2.79. Mm-hmm. So you would be qualifying based on a 4.79 rate or a 5.9 rate, the greater of.
Okay.
Okay. As of April 6th, things are changing a little bit where the government is going to set a standard rate for all buyers. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be closer to the contracted rate, being the 2.79 rate, giving potential buyers a little more of potential buying power.
So it makes it easier for people to get the home they want, basically, is kind of what I'm hearing?
A little bit easier.
A little bit easier.
Potentially. Yeah. I mean, it's more, I mean, the rules aren't changing per se, but I mean, it's going to give them a little bit more. So let's just say, for example, here in town, someone that's looking at purchasing a house for $380,000, and that's kind of where they're maxed out. With these changes, they could potentially look at a house that's $410,000. So it gives them a little bit more in what they can get. So it might be going from a house that they really don't want to get into, but they're limited, and get into something with that, hey, there's not as much to do on this property, and now I can get into that. So it's definitely going to be making a difference for those types of people at that end of it, where, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that type of thing with the stress test usually affects people that are getting into the market more, and it's their first time, and so it's going to affect them a little bit more than somebody that's already in the market. Is that correct?
It's the high ratio, the minimal down, 5, 10, 15%.
Yeah.
High ratio buyers, so the first time buyers.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, so you know, for our local market, that 380 to 400,000 is a sizable difference for some people in the type of repair that's going to have to be done in that house. Some people really, really aren't comfortable with it, or they don't have family members or someone they can do it. So now they're having to look at contracting that out, right?
Yeah.
So now that's going to eliminate that because they can get into a place that really doesn't need as much, and they can just move in and they're done.
Yeah.
So you know, this is great news for buyers coming into what is already looks like it's going to be a pretty decent market. I mean, it's been pretty hot so far through January and February. Good and bad, right? Double-edged sword there. At the selling end of things, it looks like things are good. And at the buying of things, if it keeps going on and you don't have the inventory, it's going to push prices up. Okay. So if you're thinking of doing something, it should be something that you think of doing sooner than later. Because if it starts pushing the market up, that little bit of extra that you just gained, you could lose because housing prices could go up, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. And there's always that fear, too. I mean, you were talking about just getting into the market. That's where you come in too, because don't just go out, as we were saying before, don't go out and say, yeah, I really want that house, and then go see a mortgage specialist.
It's imperative to do a pre-approval. It could depress buyers if they don't get pre-approved first. They start looking at houses, and then they find out that the bank wouldn't finance them. It's kind of a downer.
Yeah, really. Yeah. And you spent all that time and energy going out there and looking at houses and trying to find something perfect, and you don't even really know whether or not you're going to qualify for that.
Exactly.
for that home, right?
So one of the things that I've found working with clients over the years is that a lot of times, and I'm not putting down all banks, but my experience has been that a lot of times they don't want to do the job properly. They go in, they look at basic numbers, they send them out to go look at a house, and then they want to do the work afterwards, and then they find out that there's an issue. One of the things that Lino and RBC offers is your...
Well, it's our B side where we, if the Royal Bank of Canada cannot look at approving a client, we would look at the B side of things.
Yeah.
So we have our alternate mortgage solutions is exactly what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And your the guaranteed, what is that?
Oh, the firm approval.
Firm approval. That was the thing that
love
we're
that.
looking
Yeah.
for. So explain that a little bit more.
Well, firm approval basically, on the date of application, once you purchase a home, the firm approval is more of once you purchase a home. When the client comes to me and we do verification of their income, their credit, their down payment, and we also do the appraisal of the property that they've purchased, we provide a firm approval. Even if it's 2 or 3 or 4 years out, new builder homes, but we have that firm approval, okay, it stands up until the closing date. So,
You know what? So sorry, we're out of time.
Apologize.
I said I was going to cut you off, and it happened.
It happened.
All right, Georgina, stay tuned. We're coming back with Girls Inc. and prom dresses. Whoop, hang on.